car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Well, this is it, the Frontier Motors Show here on Talk at 10 on News Talk 1370 WCOA, hosted by Iven Streckel. I'm just your button pusher and phone answerer. Don't let it throw you. If you want to get a price of a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in, or if you have a question for Iven about any aspect of the car business, you give us a call. For the next 30 minutes, I will connect you with Mr. Streckel when you dial 478-3116. Frontier Motors located at 230 Beverly Parkway, but we've got the Brain Trust here in the studio with us. He is ready to take your phone calls. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don, you don't have to call me mister, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, I was going to say I'd defer to my elders, but I'm older than you are. So.
Not that much older, only 20 years.
Yeah,
oh, wait, no, I take it back, 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
10 years. This is the Frontier Motor Show, and we are taping this for our Blab TV customers. So if you're driving down the road listening to this on 1370 AM radio, you obviously aren't seeing me. But if you're watching this on TV, I do appreciate you tuning in. And this is a half-hour talk show about the car business, what's going on in the United States as far as new cars and used car sales, also what's going on in our neck of the woods here in Pensacola, and then minor what's going on at Frontier Motors. And, of course, we always start with Frontier Motors because this is a call-in show, 478-3116. That's 478-3116. And you can join us if you want to get a value on the car. And the values that we use are a little bit different than you're going to get on the internet. I've got the internet pulled up, and when you type in used car values, you get an Edmunds, a Kelly, and an NADA value. What we do is we use an official NADA book, which is a little bit different than the one you see on the internet. Now, the reason this one's different is because you have to be a car dealer, a banker, a credit union, or an insurance company to get this book. I don't know why it's a little bit different. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, but it's the official guidebook, and we use it for a reason, because this is what a banker is going to tell you that they will borrow on a particular car, which is very important. Not necessarily what the car is worth, but what they'll borrow on the car. We also use the black wholesale guidebooks, and these are kind of what we call the secret books. This is what's going on at the auctions, but more importantly, we can get right into the auction reports, which gives me true values of what's going on right now. So if there's an auction that's going in right now, and they sell, for example, in Orlando on Tuesday, they had 4,800 cars that they sold. That information instantaneously goes into the computer, and they put it alphabetically, so I can find out that if you have a 2015 Kia Sorento and you want to know what I'll pay for it, well, I can see exactly what they're going for at the auction. And if they're saying they're going at the auction for an average of $16,000, it gives me a better idea of what I can buy a car for at the auction, which gives me a better idea of what I'll pay you. Also, what are they selling for? And then I use the NADA book to find out what the retail is. I use the black wholesale guidebook to find out what the wholesale is. And normally, if I'm buying a car, it'll be somewhere in the middle. The other book that we use, which we also bring, is a new car cost guidebooks. And the reason these books are very important, if you are in the new car market and you want to know what a particular car costs the dealer, instead of paying $15 for an invoice to Consumers Reports, you call Frontier Motors and we'll give you that invoice at no charge. The other thing that we also offer the people in Pensacola is if you're in the market for a car, and I don't care if it's from a car dealership or if it's from a private individual, give us the ID number of that car. The ID number is also called the VIN number, identification number, the serial number. It's normally on the lower left-hand corner of the windshield. It's also on the door. It's usually also on the paperwork. And also, if you don't have it with you, or if you're the owner of the car, it's also on your insurance card. So if you give me that ID number, I can plug it into my system. I can give you a free Carfax report. Carfax reports these days are about $40. I can run them for no charge for you. We also have the second largest provider of history reports in the nation, which is called AutoCheck. So I can also give you an AutoCheck report. We like doing both of them to make sure that the information is the same. Also, when I plug that ID number in there to get that Carfax and AutoCheck, it also pops out an average selling price in our area. And that's very important if you're trying to buy a car somewhere. And let's say that you call me up and you say, hey, Ivan, I'm looking at buying a 2015 Kia Sorento with 25,000 miles on it. Here's the ID number. If I know that they're going through the auction for about $16,000. And let's say the NADA book says that the retail is $21,000. I can tell you don't pay any more than $18,000 or $19,000 for that car, because that's what I can sell it for and make a profit. Now, when I buy a car at auction, there's a couple of fees that I have to pay. I have to pay the auction fee. I have to pay the buyer that actually physically goes to the auction. And I also have to pay the shipping fee. And then if there's any get ready, like oil changes, details, and things like that. When you pay that, the average is out to be about $1,000. So again, if I'm buying a car for $16,000, by the time I bring it home, I'll have $17,000 invested. Let's say I mark it up $2,000. That means that price should be $19,000. But the banker might book it out at $21,000, which again means that that's what they'll borrow, but that's not what you should pay. And that's why you always take Frontier Motor up on their free advice program. And we do this not just at the Blab TV show and the WCA radio show. We do this at Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway. We've been doing it for 21 years. And we are the go-to dealer for free advice. I don't care if it's about a price of a car. The number one question we always get is about pricing. But there's a lot of other things that we can answer for you. If you're thinking of selling your car, and if you're thinking that you're going to put that car on Craigslist, or if you're going to put it on eBay, wouldn't it be nice to know how to market that car? What should you fix on that particular car, and what can you get away with? What does the Carfax say? Let's say you were in a fender bender 5 years ago and it cost $500 to fix the car, but the Carfax report mistakenly says major damage reported. Well, you'd want to know about that, wouldn't you? You want to get that corrected so the Carfax is not wrong. And I've had to be the opposite already, where customers come in and they told me I've had major extensive damage on my car, but the Carfax doesn't show anything. Sometimes it'll take 4 to 5 months before that shows up on that car. So we always ask a person when we buy the car from the individual if the vehicle has been in an accident. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. That just means you should take caution. I've had people trade in cars that have had accidents, but I get the background out of them and I price them accordingly. The other thing, of course, that we can do when you come in is we can tell you what type of paperwork you need to fill out if you're going to sell your car yourself. Let's say you are going to put your car on Craigslist. Even though we try to urge you not to do that, not because we don't think you'll make more money on the car, but because there's a little bit of scamming going on. If you read the Craigslist ads, when you put your car on Craigslist, the first 3 pages are things that scams to be on the lookout for. Even getting the money from a person these days is hard. I saw Dave Ramsey talking about money part the other day as far as what can you take. Actually, it was Clark Howard. It wasn't Dave Ramsey. Clark Howard is another one of these money gurus, and they were talking about, if I sell my vehicle, how should I get paid? He says, well, one thing I wouldn't take is a cashier's check, which I always thought a cashier's check was like cash. He says, no. The best way to do it, there's 2 best ways to sell your car if you're going to sell it yourself as far as the transaction is concerned. Number one, you go with the buyer down to your bank, and they'll make sure the funds that you're getting are verifiable. The second thing is a wire transfer. Once you do a wire transfer and the money goes in your account, they can't suck it back out. A check they can cancel. A cashier's check, they can get the money from the bank because it's in there, and then to pull the money out, now the cashier's check is no good. We've had that happen at Frontier Motors where a cashier's check is actually bounced because it was good when they got the cashier's check, but it wasn't good when the check was deposited. So these are things to look out for, and that's why when you are calling us to say, well, how should I market my car? What should I ask for? The first thing we'll do is we'll try to talk you out of doing it yourself and compromising. What I mean by compromising is the reason the person normally wants to sell their car themselves because they feel they're going to get more money than what a dealer's willing to give them. So the compromise would be have us sell the car for you, which is called consignment. There's 3 different values that are very important when you come to Frontier Motors. Number one, the first value is a wholesale buy value. What will we write you a check for and just get it over with? We buy approximately 10 to 15 cars a week from private individuals that come in, they hear the advertisement, they just sell us the car. They don't want to mess around with it. They want to cancel the insurance. They want to take the money and invest it, especially if the car is paid for. And I'm not sure if you know this or not, cars do not go up in value. Most people do know this, but cars do not go up in value. They go down in value every month. You know, this book right here, this has a month on it. Next month, this book changes. Very rarely does it go up. It usually always goes down. Sometimes it goes down by an extreme amount. I know when the new books come out, I have one of my our office people put last month's and this month's NADA values. If anything deviates more than $600, they circle it. And Don, you'd be surprised on how many of them are circled. I would say probably a third of them go down to more than $600.
Interesting.
About 5 months ago, Suburbans in 1 month went down over $2,000, which is really important if I own one.
Some kind of market anomaly, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why. Because Suburbans are actually hot. I actually have a customer right now looking for a Suburban. I'm having trouble finding one. But the book values, for whatever reason, just dropped like a rock. Now, that doesn't mean the value dropped. That means the book value dropped. So when you call your banker, this is the book I'm talking about, this NADA guy. When you call the banker, and now all of a sudden, instead of booking it out for $40,000, they're booking it out at $38,000. But the market value hasn't dropped at the auction. So this is kind of important. And we give you that information. And we tell you that if you can put your car on Craigslist, if this book drops considerably, guess what you're going to have to do? You're probably going to have to drop your price. So why not just take a check and run? The second value we can give you is what's called a consignment value. We'll normally pay you between $1,000 to $1,500 more on consignment because we don't have to tie up our cash. So let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to offer you $20,000 for your car. And you say, well, Ivan, that's not bad. The dealer I went to offered me $18,000, so you're doing way better than them. But I still think I can sell that car for $21,000 myself. Well, what if I get you $21,000 and I'll sell it for you? You don't have to worry about people coming over your house at night, especially if it's after dark. You don't have to worry about getting a bad check or funds. You don't have to worry about somebody test driving your car and beating it or making you a ridiculous offer or saying, well, I got to take it to mechanic. My mechanic's not available till Monday. So here's 3 days of no sales because you're tying the car up so the guy can take it to the mechanic because he says, well, I'll buy it if it passes inspection. And the mechanic, if you pay someone $50 or $100 to inspect your car, you know what their job is? To find something wrong with it.
Of course it is.
They can't say, hey, this car is great. So they find something wrong with it. Well, guess what you have to do? Now, that might be just maintenance items. There's nothing wrong with the car. I've had this happen before where a person's got one of my cars inspected and the car had, let's say, 70,000 miles on it. It passed with flying colors. The guy came back and says, but it's going to cost $1,500 to get it ready. I said, what are you talking about? $1,500 to get it ready. Oh, they say at 75,000 miles, every fluid in that car should be changed. What do you mean every fluid? Brake fluid, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, any fluid that's in the car. All the belts they want changed, all the hoses, nothing's broke, but they want $1,500. So this is what you run into when you sell the car yourself.
478-3116, that's our phone number. Would you like to give Iven Streckel a call? Do you have a car-oriented question? Well, you've got about 20 minutes left in today's show to ask that question. Iven Streckel owns Frontier Motors. They're located at 230 Beverly Parkway. He's located right now in our studios here at News Talk 1370 WCOA right here in Pensacola. We value your calls, 478-3116. You got about 20 minutes to get on with it here to ask Iven a question. Iven?
I like that, to get on with it. That's pretty good, Don. Very smooth.
Thank you. Years in the biz.
The other thing I was talking about consignment is we do all the work. We put it on about 10 to 15 different websites. We get the car ready for the lot. You might, if it needs a detail, you pay for the detail, which is $85, which is buff wax and everything else. We wash the car twice a week for nothing. We'll take a trade-in. We will offer financing. We will offer warranties. These are all things that we can do that you're not going to want to do if you sell it yourself. And that's why a lot of people, right now, I think I looked the other day and we had 25 cars on consignment. Now, we have a lot of cars. At Frontier Motors, we have 366 cars this morning. We normally carry around 400 cars in inventory. We're a little bit lower than normal. But about 30 of those are consignment cars from customers that have come in and they have said that, I don't want to hassle with it. A lot of times this happens when there's a death in the family, unfortunately, and they inherit a car. And obviously they want to maximize the dollar amount from that car they're getting, but yet they don't want to do it themselves. They don't want the hassle. And sometimes they're out of state. Sometimes it's a military person that is getting transferred and they don't want to keep the car in storage for a couple of years. So they heard the radio show here and they come to Frontier Motors and say, how does this consignment program work? And we do a lot of military consignments where you give us your routing number and we will deposit the money as soon as the car is sold. And it really helps people out where they don't have to do the work themselves. The other thing we can help you with, folks, if you are going to sell the car yourself, what paperwork do you need? A bill of sale, things like that. If you need something notarized, we can help you with that at Frontier Motors. So we do a lot of things. You'll notice I don't advertise individual cars. Now on TV, you might be seeing some of our inventory whiz across the bottom of the screen, but I don't advertise individual cars for a reason, because Frontier Motors is a different type of car dealership than most dealerships in Pensacola. Last time I counted, there were over 120 car dealerships in Pensacola. So how do you stand out in a crowd when there's 120, which, by the way, is a lot? For our community and our population, that's more than where I came from 21 years ago, which was Milwaukee. They had about the same amount of dealers in Milwaukee, but they had 4 times the population. So we have a lot of car dealerships down here. So what makes us stand out? And these are things I'm talking about right now. We're a different type of car dealership. So when you come on the lot, you're not going to get jumped on by a bunch of salespeople that their only goal is to see if they can basically stuff you in a car today. And that's what everything is about. When you come on a lot, and you know what I'm talking about when you go on a car dealer's lot, you're finally in the market for a car and you're like, I just want to look. I'm not even going to be ready yet. Maybe you've got a car that's 10 or 15 years old. You say, well, I'm just going to get the feelers out as far as what I want when I'm ready. I might not buy nothing for 6 months or a year. And when you tell that to our salesmen at Frontier Motors, we don't get mad at you. We don't tell you that, why don't you come on back when you're ready. What we tell you is come on down. Our salespeople unlock every car every morning. So 366 cars were unlocked this morning. So you can shop at your leisure. They can give you a price list. So if you don't want a salesman with you and you want to just shop it yourself, you can. And you'll know what we're asking, what the book value is, what we're asking for the car, what the sale price is, the miles, and the equipment. If you find a car that you like, you can go for a test drive. And then what we're going to do is something unusual, which I urge you to get from any car dealership shopping, and that is get a detailed out-the-door figure. Because who cares about the discount? Who cares about the rebate? Who even cares about the trade-in value? What's important when you're buying a car is one price. That's the out-the-door price, including all fees. And what we do at Frontier Motors, we give you that in writing, and we circle it, and we say, here you go. And then we give you a brochure of the car. So you know them when you go into, let's say, 10 different car dealerships, it kind of gets all scrambled up when you go home to think about it. So what we do is we put everything in writing. We give you a brochure, a color brochure that shows you the car, the make, the miles, the equipment, the history report, the retail price, and our discounted price, and an out-the-door price. So if you decide to go to Car City and go car shopping, you're comparing apples to apples. Normally what happens is when people go car shopping, they might take 3 or 4 days. They end up back on our doorstep. And it's not always because we have the best price. A lot of times it's because we have the nicest car. And we don't talk about condition enough. When you look at this NADA book, unlike the one online, if you go online to NADA, it's going to give you an below average, an average, and above average condition. This one that the bankers use doesn't. It just gives you an average condition. And that's the price. So what if the car is extremely nice? What if it's a one-owner car that hasn't been smoked in, and it's never been in an accident, and it's absolutely gorgeous? Would that car be worth a little bit more than the average one? Of course it would. What if the car that we have has navigation, has heated and cooled seats, has a backup camera, and blind spot detection? Would that make our car worth a little bit more than one that doesn't have those features? Of course. And what about the miles? What if you're looking at a car, and I had this happen the other day where a customer was looking at one of our used Sonatas, and we had 15,000 miles on it. He was comparing it to one over in Mobile that was $1,000 less, but it had 35,000 miles on it. We had 15,000 miles. Well, folks, that's 20,000 miles. That's a year and a half of driving for the average person. $1,000 more for our car is a bargain. And this is what I'm talking about, that it doesn't necessarily have to be the best price, but it's got to be the best deal. And the best deal might be equipment, miles, and most importantly, condition. And sometimes things that we don't talk enough about is, what about the color of the car? I always see that commercial. I think it's a Carfax commercial, or it might be an Auto Trader commercial, where they narrow it down. The guy wants a lime green car. And there's one guy in the U.S. that actually has a lime green car. And they narrow it down to that particular one. But don't you think that a lime green car might bring a little less money than a pearl white one? I know with Lexus, when I see Lexus go through the auction, a pearl white one will bring $1,000 more than a blue one or a burgundy one. Now, the books are all the same, but reality is not. And I've seen people go up to a car and say, I don't want that one. And I find out, well, I thought you wanted a Ford Explorer. Well, I do. I don't want that one. I said, why not? You haven't even looked at it. I don't like the color. And guess what? When you call that banker, he does never ask you the color. He doesn't ask you if it's been smoked in. He doesn't even ask you if it's been an accident. He doesn't ask you if it's got anything wrong with it. How does it look? What if the brake's been replaced? What about if it's a 70,000-mile car and the timing belt hasn't been changed? He doesn't ask you that. He just tells you it's worth $11,550. But all these things make a difference when you're pricing a car, and that's why you call Frontier Motors.
50.
Don, you hit it on the head. You have been listening.
As I have for the last 20 years.
351,000 F-150s. How about number 2?
That's probably going to be the Silverado.
And you're absolutely correct again. 2012 Silverados. And what about number 3?
It's either going to be the Dodge Ram or maybe one of the other pickups.
It's the Dodge Ram.
Yep.
They're getting close, Don. Chevy's at 212,000. Yeah. Ram is at 207,000. Actually, if you count just May, Ram sold 44,800 and Chevy sold 43,800. So right now, the Ram is on
Number
a
2.
roll.
Yeah, that's
very
cool.
interesting that the top 3 vehicles sold in the nation are gas-guzzling pickup trucks. Very, very interesting. Nobody cares about gas mileage anymore. Our hybrid sales, by the way, have fallen off. You
Right.
can get a really good deal on a Prius right now. Or a Chevy Volt or any of these hybrid type cars or electric cars. You can get a good deal because nobody cares anymore. How about number 3? You'll never guess this. I'm going to tell you it's an import small SUV.
An import small SUV.
For number 4.
I'll go with a Mitsubishi. Why? Because I own one that I bought from Frontier Motors.
Not close, Don. Sorry about that.
Oh,
the Nissan Rogue is number 4. The Honda CR-V, the Nissan outsold Honda. Honda CR-V number 5. The Toyota RAV4 is number 6. All 3 of these are similar sized SUVs. The Camry is number 7 for cars. Toyota Corolla number 8, Honda Civic, and Honda Accord. So surprisingly, in the top 10, domestics made 3 of them, but they're all pickup trucks.
Right. Interesting.
Can't figure out why Honda and Toyota and Nissan can't outsell the domestics in a full-size pickup truck. Now, Honda doesn't make a full-size pickup truck, but Nissan does. They make the Titan, and Toyota makes the Tundra, but they're not even close in the ranking as far as sales. And I never can figure that out because everybody says, well, those imports, they're a better, reliable car than anything else, but not in the pickup truck.
And of course, you don't care. I mean, it's whatever it is. I mean, that's one of the reasons that you have so many vehicles in stock.
I have a person comes in, Don, and they'll say, I want a Honda Civic. Well, if I'm a Toyota dealership, what would you say? I said, you don't want a Toyota. You want a Toyota Corolla. And they're going to tell you all the reasons why a Corolla is better than a Civic. And then, of course, if you're in front of that Civic salesman, he says, the Toyota guy across the street, they got nothing on us. The Civic is way nicer. And they all have these little publications from different months of why the Toyota is better and then why the Civic is better. Well, Frontier Motors, you can pick out either one because I've got the Civics in stock and we have the Corollas in stock. And when we're looking at pickup trucks, people will sometimes call and ask me, well, what would you buy? It'd be a hard decision between a Ford F-150, a Chevy Silverado, a GMC Sierra, or I was going to say Dodge Ram. It's not a Dodge anymore. It's just a Ram truck. That's a hard one. But you know what? You come to Frontier Motors, we have them all right there. We've got about 50 pickup trucks in stock. We have them all lined up. It's almost like going to a car show. It's kind of neat because we don't have to sell you a particular vehicle. And that's not what happens when you go to a franchise dealer, because if they're only selling Chevys, they're going to sell you a Chevy. That's their job. We don't have to sell you. You pick one out, and then we'll do what I talked about before. We'll give you a bottom line price in writing, because there's only 2 things important other than driving it in the vehicle. If you know you want a Chevy, for example, and you've driven 15 of them, we're still going to ask you to drive ours just in case it drives different than the one you've driven. And let's see you come back, I like it. The next thing is we'll give you a price so you can go shop. Well, there's 2 Chevy dealers in Pensacola. You can go to Pete Moore and you go to Sandy Sansing. And if we happen to have a model that's used on our lot, and I'll use let's use a GMC Acadia. We have a 17 GMC Acadia on the lot with 900 miles on. Now, our local dealer's Vince Wibbs. And if you're going to buy new, we always urge you to go to our local dealers. Shop outside the area first on the internet, then go to our local dealers and say, this is what I found from outside the area, but I want to buy it here. Keep the money in-house. Now, the only reason you come to Frontier Motors to look and say, well, you got a 17 Iven with 900 miles on. Let's see what you can save me. And I'm the first one to tell you, if I can only save you $500 or $600, I'd be the one buying brand new. But what if it's $5,000? Consumers Reports actually put in writing for the first time I've got a little graph right here, and they put in writing the first time what I've been talking about for 20 years. And they said the first year depreciation on a new car is 27%, which last year equated to $9,200. 1 year depreciation on the average is $9,200. If you buy a brand new car today and you said next year I want to get rid of this car, you're going to lose $9,200 on the average, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. Wow. If I bought that car $9,200 less, and even if I marked it up $3,000, you still save $6,200. If I marked it up, $2,000, you still $7,200, folks, and you save taxes on that. These are all things that we can help you with, and why you would want to stop at Frontier Motors before you bought a brand new car. And let's say that you say, hey, Ivan, you can't talk me out of buying a brand new car. I'm going to buy brand new. I don't care what you say. I don't care how nice yours smells. I don't care if it's got a clean Carfax. I don't care if it's never been smoked in and it's never been in a wreck. I really don't care. I'm buying brand new. I just won the lottery. I said, okay, well, how can I help you? I can help you another way by telling you what you should get for your trade-in. A lot of people come in, just sell me the trade and they're done with it because they don't want the hassle of a trade-in. They never know if they're getting a good deal. So they come, they sell me the trade, they go buy the brand new car. And sometimes what happens while they're waiting for me to give them that value on that trade-in, they're looking at our inventory and they see that I have a Mitsubishi Outlander with 26 miles on it. They see that I have a Nissan Murano with 180 miles on. Folks, I said a Nissan Murano with 180 miles on. And the list goes on and on. Usually 150 cars under 19,000 miles in stock, under factory warranty. The rest of them might be trade-ins that are less expensive. And by the way, with only having 2 minutes left, I want to mention that we buy cars. And we're about 40 cars down from what we normally have. So if you got a car and you want to sell it, you stop at Frontier Motors. Within 15 minutes, I'll give you a buy bid. If you go on our website, you're going to see 31 detailed photographs. They all got prices. So just Google Frontier Motors. We're the first one out. We've got a Facebook page, so like us on Facebook. Check us out. If you got any comments, put them on Facebook. If you've been in the dealership, please give us a review. Go to Google and give us a Google review. And also we've got, this is going to be on YouTube. So if you just go to YouTube and type in Frontier Motors, you're going to see my ugly mug. You're going to see this half-hour show. And you're going to see some other shows that we've done in the weeks past. So you can go there and go to YouTube and watch. I don't know why you'd want to spend time doing that. Just like people that watch this on, I get customers that come in. I try to think everybody comes in when they're buying a car. And they come in, they say, yeah, I saw you on that Blab TV show. I said, don't you got nothing better to do with your life than watch Blab TV? Come on, folks. But I appreciate it. So anyways, Frontier Motors is a home of free advice. So if you're ready to buy a car, even if it's not from us, if it's going to be from your neighbor someplace else, stop in, spend a couple of minutes. Let us give you the advice that we can help you with just to make sure that you don't get ripped off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.